Hello all, I am Palak Vadadia, Assistant Professor at LG Institute of Engineering and Technology from Department of Electronics and Communication. Today we will learn the topic that is function, arguments and modules from unit number 3, that is Python functions and modules. So let's start with the function arguments. The first function argument is what? It's a required arguments. And then we have a keywords arguments, then default arguments, and the last one is what is the variable length arguments. One by one we will see all in the detail. So let's start with the required arguments. See, the required arguments are the arguments that pass through the function in the correct positional order. Here the number of arguments in the function call should match exactly with the function definition. That means if inside the function, if you have mentioned the two parameters, then definitely when you just call that function, you have to pass that two parameters. Otherwise, it will give you the error. Like, consider this is my simple program. Here what I have written, that is a simple function that is print me. So whatever the string you are passing inside this function, it simply print that thing. So just I use the print, then string and then return. Now see, when I want to call that function, here see, here what I have written is print me and it's nothing. Inside this function, there is no argument. So when I execute this code, what will happen? It simply give me an error that here, see here also it is written. Type of error is what? It's a print me missing a one required positional arguments. That means here inside the function we have a one argument, that is what? It's a string. But here there is no argument. So this function will give you the error. So whenever you just define any function, so whatever the parameter you are specifying inside the function, that you have to write when you call that function. So same thing. Next is what is a keyword arguments. The keyword arguments are related to function calls. When you use the keyword argument in a function call, the call identify the arguments by the parameter name. That means, see, this allows you to skip the argument or place them out of order because the Python interpreter is able to use the keyword provided to match the value with the parameter. That means if inside the function you have a two argument a and b, then not necessary you have to pass in that same order. But yes, by the keyword you have to specify a equal to this and b equal to this. Then after, the order is not important. For example, see here, string is written and then using that string, see here in a print me, using that string, I just use it's a my string. So whenever this function is executed, it simply print what? My string. Right? It's the same function that we already discussed. Now, see, we will take one more example. Here, just I want to tell you this thing. See here, what the function is, what is a print info name and age. So it simply print the name and simply print the age. So here, when I want to call this function, see, I am not maintaining the order. In place of name, what I am writing? I am writing age that equal to 50. And here, in place of age, that is name that equal to Mickey. So that is alright. This code will not give you the error because whenever you just specify the keyword, at that time order is not important. See, simply name in place of name, it's Mickey, and in place of age, that is what? It's a 50. Now next is what is a default arguments. A default argument is an argument that assumes a default value if the value is not provided in the function. Okay. The following example give you an idea about how the default argument you can pass inside the function. See here what I have written, the same function, that is print info name. But here in place of age, what I have defined is a 35. And then it's the same thing. See, the first time when I call this function, what I do? that is age equal to 50, name equal to Mickey. Second time, name that equal to what? Only the Mickey. I have not specified the age. And the third time, see, I just changed the order. Just I want to show that order is not important. Now when I execute this code, see the first time when this code is executed, at that time what name is what? It's a Mickey, and age is what? It's a 50, like this. When see this code is second time executed like this, that is what? Name Mickey. So here age variable is not specified. So what this function will do? It simply here in place of name, definitely it will take the Mickey, but in place of age, what it will display? Default value. My default value is what? It's a 35, like this. If you are not specifying the value of age, then by default it will take the 35, because inside the function I specify the value of age that equal to 35. Now in a third line, see your name is what? It's a Mickey, and age is what? 50. Yes, it's the same thing. Okay, so you can see in first and third, if I interchange the order, then after I'll get the same result. So order is not important. Now the third one is what? It's a variable length arguments. So you may need to process a function that is more argument than you specified while defining the functions. Suppose at the time of defining you just pass the 2 value, but it may happen in future you want to pass 4, 5, that is greater than 2 value. Then at that time you have to use this thing. That is, this argument are called the variable length arguments and are not named in the function definition. Okay, unlike the required default arguments. So syntax of this is like this. See here, function name, then it's a formal argument, and this asterisk is represent, it's what? It's a variable length argument. This asterisk sign that specifies the length is not fixed. Then here you have to write down the doc string and then your return expression. Let's see one example. See here, argument 1, and then because at least you require the one argument, and then this asterisk sign is specified. After that, see here the size is not fixed. You can pass as many value as you want. Then is print the output is, and print argument 1. Then 4, see this argument 1 is printed always, and for this variable length I just use the one for loop, that is 4, and then I take some variable name, that is var in var tuple, and I want to print this var, then it's simply return. Now when I want to call this function, first time see I'll just pass only the one value, that is what? It's a 10, and second time I'll pass the 3 different values, that is 70, 60 and 50. Let's take a look. When I execute this code, the output is what? First time my output is what? 10 only. Second time, see in place of argument 1, definitely 70 will print, and then this 60 and 50, that is the part of what? Is a var tuple. So one by one it will print these values. Next we will discuss, that is the anonymous functions. This function I'll call anonymous because they are not declared in the standard manner by using the def keyword. We know def is what? It's a defined function. You can use the lambda keyword to create a small anonymous function. It can take any number of arguments but return just one value in the form of expression. They cannot contain the command or multiple expression. So it will take only the one form of expression. See, this function cannot be direct call print because the lambda required at least one expression. That's what we have discussed here. At least what we require the one expression. You cannot directly call the print function. Let's see one example. See, this is the syntax of the lambda. Here you require the one expression, that is what? Argument 1. And this is optional. If you want to specify, then you can specify the more than one argument. Then here see the function is what? Here sum that equal to lambda, that is what? In place of def, here you have to use this keyword, that is lambda. And then argument 1 and argument 2. What this function will do is simply add these two arguments, that is argument 1 and argument 2. So when I call this function sum, inside this sum I have to pass the two value, because one is what is argument 1 and another value is what is the argument 2. So inside this I have passed the two different value. Similarly, again I call this function and I pass the 20. So after the execution of this code, the first value is what? Simply is add, because here it is what is argument 1 plus argument 2. So when you add 10 plus 20, answer is what is a 30. And for the second time, when you add 20 plus 20, the answer is what? It's a 40. Alright. So whenever you just define the anonymous function, because here we are not specifying any doc string, we are not giving any example, we just write this function like this. Next we will discuss, that is what is the scope of variable. See, the all variables in a program may not be accessible in all location in that program. This depends upon where you have declared the variable. If you declare any variable inside the function, then you can use that variable inside the function only. And if you declare the variable that is outside of the function, so that is known as a what? Some global variables that we will discuss in detail. So there are the two types, as I said, one is what is a global, another is what is a local. Let's see what is the difference in global and local. The variables that are defined inside the function body, that is obviously it is called as a what? It's a local scope, or we can say it's a local variable. Or the variable those are defined outside of the function, that is called as a global variables, or we can say it's a global scope. This means that the local variables can be accessed only inside the function which they are declared, whereas the global variable can be accessed throughout the program body by the function. Alright, let's take one example. Here the total that equal to what? Is 0. And I have just write one function, that is def sum, then argument 1 and argument 2. It simply add these two arguments, and just see carefully. Inside this I have used the variable that is what? It's a total. So this total is known as a what is a local variable, because I have defined this variable inside the function. And it is what? Simply print the total and then return the total. And this total is what? It's a global variable, because I have defined this variable that is outside of the function. So when you call this sum 10, 20, that is sum, argument 1 is 10, argument 2 is what? It's a 20. So when I write print, again see I am using what is a print and then it's a total. So what they will do? First of all, it goes to this function, that is sum, argument 1 and argument 2. Here it will print what? It's a total variable. So it is first, it will inside the function local total, that is what is a 30. Now this print statement, what it will print? That is print the outside of this function value, that is a 0. Because when you want to print the inside this, that is local variable, then you have to call this function. Because first time I want to print what is a local variable. That's why I call the function, and the second time I simply use the print command to print the global variable. So I hope this concept is clear. Now next we will discuss about, that is Python modules. See, it is very similar to the function, so we will do the one quick revision of the function, we can say like that. See, the module is a file containing the Python definition and statement. The module can be defined the functions, classes and variables, and it is also include the runnable codes. Now we can break down the large program into the small, manageable and organized file. Furthermore, the module have provided the reusability of the code. So it's just like the function. Okay, when you want to do some large program, then what you can do, you can just write the different function, and whenever it requires, you just call that function. So here what we can do, here we can write the module, and the file name module is what? That is your file name, and whenever it requires, you just call that module inside your new file. Now we can define our most used function in a module and import it instead of copying the definition into the different program. Like a function, right? We don't want to copy the code, we just want to call the function. So here also, you no need to copy the code, you just import that module. Now see here, I have written one definition, that is add and this program, and here the result is what? Is a plus b, and then return the result. So this program is simply what it do? It do the addition. So my file name is what? Is an example. So my module is what? Now it is known as an example. Now inside this module, I use the one function, that is what? Is a add. The function take two numbers of return their sum. Now how to import the module? Now you know very well that you can do by help of what? Import statement. So we use the import keyword to do this, and to import our previously defined module example, we type the following, like import, and then you have to write example. So this file will import. If you remember, then in our plotting of data, we are just import what is a matplotlib library as well as some numpy, that is numbers in Python. So here if you write example.add, so this is first you have to define the module, and then you have to define the function, that function that is inside this module. What we are writing in a plotting of data, we are just writing np dot something pi, for example np dot pi. Np is what? Is our module. Inside that module, I want to use the function that is pi. So here you have to specify like this. Now we can import the module using the import statement and the definition inside. Like let's take the another example. See, as I discussed, first of all what we can say, it's import math. It's what is an inbuilt module, and then we have to print what is the pi value. So first you have to write down the module name, and then you have to define the function. When you run this code, definitely you will get the value of pi. Next, import with renaming. That is what? Import numpy as np. See here, import math as m. So instead of writing math over here, you have to just write down n. Here you can write down anything, ABC, XYZ, anything. But you just remember one thing, whenever you want to use the function that is reside under any module, then you have to define first module name, then dot, and then the function. So here the same thing, we are just going to rename that math as a m, and then you are just calling that function. Now next, from an import statement. Yes, this is something interesting. So we can import the specific name from the module without importing the module as a whole. Here is one example. See here, math import pi. So that what this statement specify, from math I want to import the function pi. Then no need to write down math.pi. Simply you have to write down what is the pi, because I am just specifying what I want exactly. So that's why it's a from math only import which function, that is pi function. So in such cases we don't use the dot operator. Okay, and see the result is what? Definitely is this. And when you want to import the more thing, like you want e also, then specify comma, then E. Then if you want other function, then you specify comma and then that function name. See, now pi value is this, E value is this, right? Now if I want to import all the names, then simply you just put the asterisk. That is inside the math, I want every function that is returned inside the math. And then simply all the functions, import everything with the asterisk symbol, and it's not good, but it is not good programming. Yes, definitely. So you have to specify whatever you want to use. But this is the one way to import all the names. So I hope this function and module is clear. See, the module is similar to the function. Okay, but whenever you just want to import, then you have to specify the module name. If you have any query related to this session, please ask me. Okay? Thank you.